Yeah, the fencing, and it is.
You guys are live.
Oh, sweet. Well, hi, Scott. While we're waiting for everybody to come and join, I usually kind of waste a few minutes geeking out about something that I'm fond of. And this week is something totally new. It's icy hot. This is roll on icy hot. Now, why would that be exciting? You ask. Well, Scott, we've been working together for a while talking about how to get people involved in this industry and, employment opportunities. And I realized that maybe we aren't doing a great job showing what it looks like to start off in the industry. And so I'm going back and working in residential construction as a laborer and really starting off at the bottom. And I'm working in a fencing and decking, which, Scott, is tiring. It's really exhausting.
It sort of makes my back hurt just hearing you describe it a little bit.
I didn't know you could put a post into a granite rock until yesterday, and believe me, my hands will tell you it's the truth. But it's awesome. So that's my geek out for this week and what I'm up to. But real quick, my name's Kayleen McCabe. I'm co-host of Lunch on Tuesdays with my good friend Scott Sheelar from SEFCA. And so, Scott, that's kind of what I'm up to and new and doing. What is up and new with happening with SEFCA? I heard you guys have some good news.
Yeah, so we actually did make a big announcement last week, and it's good news, bad news. I'll go ahead and warn you. So we'll start with the bad news first. So we have to cancel the in-person Career Expo in 2021, unfortunately, because of COVID. We can't see a clear path to safely bring together, 10,000 people in March, and things may be different in March. We really, nobody knows, right? But the thing about that event is we have to start planning really early. We normally start planning about 6 months out. And so we made the very difficult decision to cancel the in-person Career Expo in 2021, which I know you hate because you love coming out and you always do such a great job with that event. But here's the good news. So we are going to look at some virtual solutions. We are going to figure out, can we do some virtual site tours and that sort of thing. So we're exploring that. But the really good news is we are moving forward with the Skills USA competition. So we are going to do an in-person skills competition at the World Congress Center. Now it's going to be controlled. We won't be able to have as many spectators as we've had in the past, but we are going to give our students, our Skills USA students, an opportunity to compete here in Georgia. That's the game plan right now. And so we are charging full speed ahead with that plan, and we're super excited about just seeing all the kids again and seeing them compete and being able to do something in person. We're really looking forward to that. And the dates are March 4th and 5th. Make sure it's on your calendar. And all of our viewers, make sure it's on your calendar because we're definitely looking forward to it.
That's amazing news. And it is good to hear that we'll still be doing the competition for the Skills USA side. Now, question, can people now watch this virtually? Is that something that will happen? Yes,
so that's something we're going to figure out is how do we put some cameras in place so that people can watch this remotely. We were talking with NCCER about maybe doing some helmet cams, wouldn't that be cool to have helmet cams on our competitors' hard hats? Yes. I should say hard hat cam. I should know better. But yeah, hard hat cam so you can see them actually doing the work, which would be really cool. So we're going to explore that. So stay tuned.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am so excited about, it's okay. Canceling some of these events in person does stink, but is really cool to see us take advantage of technology and really kind of now branch out and get creative with it. And I'm excited because this event is fantastic. And the fact now that people can tune in and watch, Scott, that's going to be so cool.
We're going to make it happen.
Yes, excellent. Well, talking about, doing things virtually, today's guest, I'm very excited about interviewing. We're talking with Paul, is it Delaney? Is he Irish? Sounds like a very Irish last name. I'm not sure, Scott, but he's with JE Dunn. And we're going to be doing kind of I don't want to say a virtual job site tour, but taking advantage of technology to talk about some of their job sites. So yet again, another kind of something exciting that is coming out of the challenges that we're facing right now.
Definitely. Yeah. JE Dunn is one of our best partners here in Atlanta, and they're a national company. But they do great work, and just looking forward to hearing what Paul has to share about what, the job site that he's on and the work that they're up to.
Agreed. In fact, Paula, here you are. Thanks so much for joining us. And Scott, it was awesome to kick off the start of the show as always. And we will see you at the end of the show. And as normal, you'll be around to answer any questions for our fans. If they want, have anything, they can type them in the comments and you'll get right back to them. So thanks again, Scott. It was nice seeing you, and we'll see you in a little bit. And Paul, thanks so much for joining us. Now I have to ask, did I butcher how to pronounce your last name?
Telehany.
Telehany. All right. Well, thank you. Telehany. It does sound kind of very Irish, Scottish. So thank you so much for joining us. Now you're with JE Dunn, which is a huge contractor. We've, kind of worked and been with them in the past, and you're a project manager with them in a project in downtown Atlanta. Now, okay, side tangent. You look kind of young to be a project manager on a really big project in downtown Atlanta. So can you tell me, how did you get into construction? Like, where did you start off with this?
So our high school, we had some trades that we could work with back in Montgomery. So I kind of got exposed early on, working in high school with carpenters, masons, and then that kind of segued into Auburn University building science program, and then multiple internships. Through the summer, working with some other GCs and some smaller companies, kind of doing roofing and some miscellaneous jobs. So I've been pretty fortunate since the beginning of probably early on in high school to be involved in the construction industry.
That is awesome. And I wish the more high school students would take advantage of the programs that are offered to them. So if you had to go back and talk to a high school student right now, and what would you say to convince them to take advantage of this opportunity? Because, a few weeks ago, we had a guest on where I travel around like, this is a great career. I love it so much. And we're starting to realize that younger kids aren't necessarily driven by career. It's not necessarily that. And so can you help us young Paul? What would you say to those students as far as convince them to join us?
I'd honestly probably say get that experience early on. With a lot of companies, they want you to floor, but you don't necessarily have to stay there, kind of doing the odd jobs at the beginning. Do the tougher jobs, kind of the more grunt work at the beginning, but then once you kind of move on in your career, obviously you get more and more experience and you move up the ladder. That's probably something I would have done, is just gain that experience earlier. Get in with either a smaller company or even a GC, and just try to learn.
Yeah, it's so valuable. Earlier in the show, I was talking about how I'm a seasoned contractor, but I'm going back, starting over as a laborer, just to show the experience and even the things that I kind of forgot. You do learn so much. I call it starting off in the mailroom, or people do, but we're a laborer and you get to observe and learn so much. So I'm kind of interested though. So you had the opportunity to trades in high school, but then you still went to university, which sometimes folks go right into the industry and some continue on. Remind me again, what was your major in?
At Auburn, it was building science, which is essentially construction management, either field route, office, or estimating. So we kind of got a good exposure into maybe more the corporate side of things. But we were able to do internships at the same time, kind of working with the trades. I know there were a lot of trades that were in high demand, masons, carpenters. So we really got a lot of exposure each summer working with those trades and those companies.
That's so valuable, because I have, in my past, I've worked with some college graduates who had never been on a job site before. And I think it's kind of tough to manage or see the intricacies of this industry without actually being there. So what a great opportunity with the internships. So, my next question that I like to ask people is, what was your first day at work like? But you kind of didn't have, you saw it through internships, but can you go back to the first time you came onto a job site, and what was that like?
So my first day, we had a concrete pour, and I was told to get there at 3 a.m. in the morning. And this was, I was green, I was fresh, I'd little involvement with some other trades, but as far as concrete, green, and we ended up being there until 7 p.m. that night because, I mean, as you know, once you start pouring concrete, you can't stop. You know, you're there until the job's finished. I was paid hourly, so it was good money and it was a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, I was really beat.
Yeah, it's a different level of tired. Last night my hands were so tired they wanted to vomit. Like, ugh. Like, but it's something that I find so valuable. It's great being a part of a team and kind of building that rapport that you're in it to win it. And you're right. Once you start going with concrete, if you stop, it's kind of set in stone, you know.
Right.
So, you know, what would you tell then students or people getting into it? Because I still meet folks who are afraid to go to the job site the first day. It's so intimidating. Were you nervous at all?
I was, but you know, looking back on it now, it's an important part of growth and development for the crowd. Having that on the job experience, being on site, you're just stuck in an office and you never get to see the jobs being built. You never really get to see, if you're in estimating or if you're in project management, you never really get to see kind of what's going on. You miss their key learning moments that I feel like you would miss if you're not there getting that on the job training.
Yes, there's stuff that you cannot put into books. I'm just like, and the best is working with older contractors who know like these tips and tricks that you'd never find anywhere else, but it is so valuable. And I love the fact that you are, you know, you started off kind of, I think, in the ideal way, that you had the exposure in high school and then the opportunity to work and intern and educate yourself in university. And now tell me about this project that you're running in Atlanta. This sounds amazing.
So it's a core and shell office building. So we're essentially just doing the structure and then the skin. And then we've got area with there's some bathrooms and IDF closets. And so it's not like, you know, you don't have your full finishes throughout, but it's a really good way to see kind of the early on parts of the job. We just topped out on the 26th of September. So structure's done. That's a big milestone. That was our critical path early on. And now we're moving up the building with the skin, our curtain wall, and we're at the roof. A ton of coordination and sequencing that's being done up there right now. It's been a really, really good project. Definitely a tight, logistically, it's tight down here. There's 2 other projects on the same block. So coordinating deliveries, concrete pours, it's been a complete team effort with, you know, between our field team, office team, and the other projects.
Yeah, that's incredible. And there are a ton of skyscrapers going on. That city is on fire with building. You know, one skill that we don't talk about often, you know, it's like, okay, you should learn how to use a hammer. Fine. Can you tell me about the importance of communication?
Yes, we use a ton of tools to help communicate. I'd say sometimes the best tool is just pick up the phone and talk to somebody or ask for an in-person meeting. I know a lot of the times when things aren't going our way, I'd prefer to call someone and say, hey, let's set up a meeting. We'll go our eyes on it. But we do a lot of coordinating with an app for scheduling deliveries as well as crane time. So it's been really helpful on this project especially.
That's amazing to hear how much technology is employed. And of course it makes sense because JE Dunn, you folks are working on gigantic projects. In fact, bringing up now some photographs of projects you've worked on. These are not just like, oh, it's a cute little house. Like, oh my, that is amazing. Can you talk about what project this is?
Yeah, so this is a multi-family house. It's actually, the tower here is our cast in place structure. And then over to the right is a stick built and a precast parking deck. So you really get a good feel of the kind of different parts of structure that we have. I know there's always a need for concrete finishers. I was talking to one of our trades the other day, a large crowd out of the Atlanta area. And he said they've got 6 crews of concrete finishers. They're still hiring.
Whoa.
Yeah, they've blown up in the last 4 years. They've gone from 1 crew to 6 crews. So this project is, to me, is a really good indication of just structure. There was masons on this as well, and the metal panels on the building on the right, like that's actually just metal and not wood. But this was a really good project to see built, because you kind of had hardscapes, landscapes, and then skin as well.
Hey, do you know, sorry to throw this question out there randomly, any guesstimate on how many people were working on this project at a time?
At the height, it was about 300 plus.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
That's really impressive.
a rather large project. And since this project, we've actually done 2 more with this owner. And that empty area to the left right there, we actually just completed one that is actually taller than this one.
Wow. Is this a photograph or is this a rendering?
This is a photograph.
Wow. All right. Sometimes you don't know anymore. These renderings are pretty good, but that's a beautiful photo. What a gorgeous structure too. How long did it take with construction from start to finish on this?
It's about 2 years.
Okay. I don't think a lot of folks, I really want to start highlighting on how many different trades it took to build this structure, how many people, and the time frame, because I come out of television where we kind of distort how things go along, but this is a good process. And the next photo coming up, that was a great looking staircase. Wow.
Yeah. So if you look at this is a really good indication of some trades on the interiors. Our electrician did a fantastic job. We've got this ornate here. And then the stairs are actually, they were done by our millwork guy who worked with our steel guy to put together the glass, the millwork. You really get a good idea of some of the trades here on the interiors that are in need. I mean, painters and millwork guys are always some that I know, just talking with the trades that we work with now, they're always looking to hire. They've got good hours. They make good money. I think it's a great, definitely a great trade to be in.
Big time. Well, and I am partial to this side because you're inside, which is kind of nice, but it's very artistic. And I've seen a lot of floating staircases normally out of concrete, but out of wood, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now this next photo, what a gorgeous skyscraper. Where is this?
So this is a student housing job. It's not too far from Midtown.
Wait, student housing for who?
This was for Georgia State, I believe.
Holy cow, that's the nicest student housing facility I think I've ever seen.
It is. You kind of can tell here on the outside, it's kind of got this ornate curve to it. Electrician did a really good job installing light fixtures on that curve so that at nighttime it's lit up. The glazing, our curtain wall guy here did a great job. I know they plenty of trade that has talked to us about hiring, and if they're, we know of anybody to kind of reach out to them. But you kind of see the different in relation to this project compared to our first one. They're for different uses, and as we kind of go through the slides, you'll see us go to industrial, healthcare, different trades. Obviously, they work on different buildings sometimes.
It is nice, the variety, because you are going to a different job site. It's not the same project. You're not going to be building this building forever. And of course, the variety is endless. This is, again, another gorgeous space created by JE Dunn. Quick question. You talk about the electricians have done a great job. Obviously, that lighting fixture is another example of that. If I'm a fan or a student watching and say, gosh, I would really like to work for JE Dunn doing this, could they find information on that on like a website, or you folks, can you hire and direct people in the right areas?
So it really depends. We, for like an electrician, we typically don't hire directly, but we can always point them to the proper channels. And I know we also go to career fairs. We have internships that we do that we can, we work with other trade partners that we kind of point them in that direction. Sure, if that is something they're interested in, then we can definitely hook them up with the proper people.
Sure. Well, it's just nice because, gosh, if I was a student coming up and wanted to show my art somewhere, I would want to be associated with a company that creates amazing structures. And so where is this photo located at?
So this is that same student housing project. This is the interior lobby. This one, to me, this one obviously stands out is just all the millwork, light fixture, like you had pointed out, but also the tile.
Yeah.
You can see the tile on the floor there. Definitely a trade that we work with on every job. And they have multiple crews, definitely in need of new apprentices to work with them. This is just a beautiful design and just execution.
Yeah, it's stunning. I'm used to seeing outdated dorms, and this is like it's a beautiful, beautiful structure.
Right.
Let's see, what else do we have?
So this is the same project, but this is in their kind of clubhouse area up at the top of the building. And over here by the fireplace, you kind of notice, you think that would be a wood feature, but that's actually tile, kind of like I talked about at the bottom. So you can definitely see the craftsmanship for our tile trade partner and how they work. That's something that we'd like to see more people, that we work with, take into account. And as new kids come out of college, or if they're just looking for a job out of high school, just jumping in and taking the reins and handling stuff like this.
Yeah, it's stunning. And it's what is interesting too is I believe if you work in this industry, we're all artists. My medium changes between lumber or concrete or tile, and you're highlighting all these different applications are stunning. And my mind cannot wrap the head. This is a college campus. Oh my gosh. All right. So what is this photograph of?
So this is a K through 12 job. And I feel like this picture it's a good picture to show, just because you kind of see the skin aspect of these metal panels tying into the mason's work, and then the hardscapes and landscapes of this project. Sure.
No, this is fantastic, and also showing, wow, it's how many different trades you partner with.
Right.
A lot of people think if you're just going to create a building, you want to be an architect or an engineer, and no. The amount of trades that you touch on are enormous. Now, is this the same structure we just saw a picture of?
It is, and this is from kind of the playground view. And I feel like that's something that you just touched on, that a lot of, you think about a building, there are so many trades that go into completing this project. So it's not like when you're coming out of high school and you're looking for one of these trades to try, you don't get pigeonholed into one. There are so many that you can kind of tailor to what you're looking for.
Big time. And I think we need to do a better job explaining that. I remember the first time going onto a big job site and seeing all the different trades and even the toolage. It's like, man, gosh, if I had known I could do that, I would have enjoyed the opportunity to explore it. And I have friends who like to be outside a ton. Landscaping and the hardscaping portion is their jam. What would, talking about that, and we want to expose more people to all of this, what would you like to see happen to build the workforce to, be more robust?
One thing I feel like, I may have kind of mentioned it earlier, when someone's coming out of high school and they're wanting to go into one of these trades, it's valuable to start out kind of on the lower levels. And that you don't have to stay there. That you learn these kind of initial skill set, and then you build on that as you go, and then maybe you kind of flourish into either a higher skilled trade, or if you want to stay within some of the lower levels, it works either way. But I feel like if you start out on the lower levels first, you really gain that experience that's important for growing in the career.
Oh, I totally agree. And highlighting internships and mentorships are critical because, you can't just You can't just start off at the top and be boss. You have to appreciate all the parts going into it.
Right.
All right, now this photo that just came up, Paul, those arches, what glorious trim work. Oh my, where are we at with this?
So this is a historic renovation. And this, if you can see the before and afters, this is night and day. It's fantastic, fantastic craftsmanship. This is really a good place to talk about kind of finished carpenters and kind of where they're in need. As you can see, all of the wooden elements in the ceiling here, which is they're not original, but they're original cast. They sent the original pieces off and got them cast and then redone so that they could install them back in the building. So you really see the care and the skill set in these pictures, just on what's needed from our trades.
Big time. That plaster detailing is a lost art. Oh my gosh, what amazing. Yeah, that photograph is stunning. Both of those. How long do you know how long this project took to do the restoration?
I believe it was about a year.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh gosh, I look at pictures like that and I'm so envious. Like, that's what I want to work on when I grow up. It's so pretty. Wow.
This is actually another renovation. What's cool about this one, this is for at the old Braves Stadium. So they were able to utilize some of the back of house areas to create these locker rooms, but also you're able to kind of see where the Braves, their locker rooms were while you're there. So some of the kind of key aspects here is your millwork, where the players sit, your flooring guys with the carpet, you can kind of see the detail in their work. And then the electricians as well, just kind of all the lighting elements and fixtures that they have here. It was
what a really fun location as a contractor to get to work in. I mean, come on, bragging rights a little bit. It's pretty cool.
Definitely, everyone is really excited about that.
Oh heck yeah!
This is a industrial job, so you're kind of seeing we're kind of segueing into more finished, kind of higher end elements now into kind of an industrial job. This is where this manufacturer would send cars to get different accessories. So you can kind of see the overall job site, the vastness of it here. If you go to the next picture, so this is kind of the interior of the warehouse. And I feel like this picture and the next picture kind of show you the two differences. Whereas this is kind of really industrial looking, where, you know, some of your MEP guys and your steel guys, you know, they're not doing stuff that's super finished or ornate. But then if you go to the next, you kind of see this is the lobby area where you need more finishes from your millwork guy, your tile guy, your polished concrete. So this definitely took it was a huge team effort completing this one.
It's incredible, you know, and you mentioned team. How would you define a good worker? You know, so if you're looking at a crew, how would you define them?
I think someone that shows up every day on time, and they are open to things. I kind of see being open to doing new things as a way to learn. If you don't ever try new things, you're never going to learn new skills. So that it's kind of like a domino effect where the people in front of you, they can't move up and try new things if you're not moving up and trying new things. I feel like those are the 2 or 3 key components that I would look at, you know, when hiring someone or having a worker that would excel.
I agree. Those are definitely the qualities that we want. And Paul, this has been absolutely fantastic. I cannot believe how the half an hour just completely evaporated. The photos you had were wonderful examples of all the trades that we need. And JE Dunn is doing a wonderful job showing that. So, you know, is there a website that folks can go to just to check out all of the amazing work that JE Dunn does?
Yeah, they can go to our website. You Google JE Dunn, should be the first one that pops up. All our different projects and resources, and it's a great tool to use.
Done. I hope everybody checks that out. And Paul, thank you again so much for joining us for lunch today. Next week, we're going to be joined by Katie George with Career Safe, talking about OSHA, which everybody get your OSHA safety first on all those job sites. And if you have any questions, you can text Career Path to 31996. Paul, thanks so much for joining us. And Scott, what did you think about this today?
I love this, Kayleen. I loved what Paul said about getting out and just getting to work and exploring, because you can learn so much, not just in terms of skills, but in terms of yourself, what you like and what you don't like. And you can figure out by getting out and doing some fencing work like you're doing, Kayleen. You're probably figuring out you don't want to do that the rest of your life, but but it's a good experience, right? And but no, that was the coolest thing to me, is just the importance of getting out and working, as early as you can. I mean, I was talking with someone earlier today. I was a paper boy at age 13. I was delivering papers. So I started working at 13, and I learned a lot through that experience, and I do think it's important to get out and work and figure out what you like and what you don't like. So that was awesome advice.
Completely agree. So I thank you both again for taking time for this lunch, passing on your valuable information. And I do hope our fans check out both the work at JE Dunn. And then if you have any questions, also check out SEPCA. It's sepca.org. And we'll see you all next week. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Good. Thank you, Kayleen. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.